The Battle. Paul O'Connell was born in Limerick in 1979. He was selected for 3 British and Irish Lions rugby tours, including as captain in 2009. He won 3 Six Nations championships with Ireland, including 2 as captain, in 2014 and 2015. And he won 2 Heineken Cups with Munster. In the following extract from his award-winning book, The Battle, he reflects on coming back to the sport after a bad back injury. As a player in such a physical sport, what killed me were the injuries that stopped me from training, forcing me to take steps back, just as I was getting where I needed to be. So instead of being like a pro cyclist who, at 30, had just gotten fitter and fitter over time, I ended up on this road where my fitness peaked and dipped. Injuries are a part of the game, just as much as passing the ball or lifting weights. But a few of those injuries took so much rugby away from me. Just when I should have been at the top of my game, I was left feeling like I needed to make up for lost time. I thought the announcement of my retirement would have been a footnote, that people would have been expecting it. And they would have said, well, look, that's been coming for a few years now, between this injury, that injury, and the other injury. Before getting the epidural, I had considered surgery, but it was only the physical demands of rugby that were putting a strain on my back. I could pick up my son Paddy and swing him around without feeling anything. To pass the time after getting the injection, I watched 12 episodes of Californication, one after the other, because I needed to stay on my back. I had found that watching or reading anything about sport or high performance training was making me feel more frustrated. They were constant reminders of what I was missing. The best thing for me was to switch off and give my body a chance to get better. It was mid-November. I knew it was not a good idea to set myself a comeback date when nothing was certain about my recovery. But I needed something to focus on, so I did it anyway. On the 29th of December, at the home game against Ulster, I tried everything and anything: magnets, massage therapy, hot water bottles, and yoga. It seemed like everyone I met had a story about their back. Christmas came and there was no improvement whatsoever. People who find their jobs or their lives tough often think that other people are sailing through. It is rarely the case. I did not want to admit to anyone how I was feeling, mainly because I was trying hard to stay positive. When I got home after another day without progress, I would try to leave my frustration at the front door and be a decent husband and father. I had bad days before with injuries, but I was never unhappy. It was a part of the game, and the challenge in front of me was to get right. But in the 2 weeks before Christmas, when I knew I had no hope of playing before the end of the year, I was lower than I'd ever been. My happiness level then was maybe 3 out of 10. Normally, it is 10 out of 10. For the first few months of the season, I had been telling myself to give it time and to do my rehab to the highest possible standard. 6 weeks after the epidural, I had the same symptoms and no comeback date. I was very, very disillusioned. Going in for an hour's physiotherapy every day with my jeans on because I did not have the heart to get into the tracksuit. I had started thinking about retirement, figuring out what I would say if I got asked about it in an interview. With my injury profile, it would have been a fair question. The following day, I flew to London and saw a surgeon at the Leicester Hospital, Damien Fahey. Looking at your scans, he said, I think you could be back playing in 6 to 8 weeks after an operation. As soon as he came out with that, my form was better. I was plotting my way back. When sport is your job and someone says you could be back on the field of play in 6 to 8 weeks, What you hear is 6. Emily drove me to the Mater Hospital in Dublin at 6:45 on a Monday morning, New Year's Eve. I was on a trolley 20 minutes later. Just before they put me to sleep, I got a little bit emotional. But when I woke up, Keith Sennett was standing over me with a smile on his face saying, it could not have gone any better. I was on the comeback trail. After a couple of weeks of lying flat on my back, I took my first steps outside the house. A short, slow walk to the local shop to buy a packet of jelly tots for Paddy. Over the following nights, I went further, listening to music with my hood up. In the end, it took 10 weeks before I had enough conditioning to get back on the pitch. But I never really doubted I would make the Harlequins game. What I did question, though, was whether we had it in us to win. The week before the quarter-final, in my second game back, we were murdered by Glasgow. It was a shocking performance. We conceded 51 points and gifted them tries. Doug Howlett was out injured and I was captain for the Harlequins game. When I spoke to the media during the week, I was very down about our chances. I did not want to pretend any optimism. It was almost like I felt we needed an antidote to Rob Penny's relentless positivity. That we did not have the track record as a team to justify being in any way confident. I did not want to tell anyone it was going to be fine because I did not know if it was. I wanted the new guys to be feeling the same kind of fear the old team had experienced going over to Perpignan 4 years earlier when we blew them away. I could slag with the best of them in the gym, and a few of the lads noticed I was not my normal self. Is there no crack today? I shook my head and gave them a half smile. I did not tell people I was seriously worried. I was fearful of a 30 or 40 point drubbing, a serious defeat. It was nothing to do with the game plan. I thought we could play any game we wanted within the framework Rob had given us. At the end of the first half, on the halfway line, the referee signalled an advantage to Harlequins. They were 6 points ahead. Danny Kerr, their scrum half, was looking at the referee, checking that it was a penalty. The second Jerome Garces blew the whistle. Kerr quick tapped it. We knew it was coming. We had done the analysis. They had been scoring tries from that position all year. Conor Murray had already gone back 10 metres. When he shot up and made the tackle, James Downey went in and poached it. It was a penalty to us. I always thought those were the kind of moments that shifted the balance of power in games. It could have been a 13-point lead for them at half-time. But we'd spotted it, worked on stopping it, and executed it brilliantly. Now we had pulled ourselves back from the brink. I was so proud. In that moment, I almost felt like we had won the competition.
If reading, writing, maths or technology is holding you back, free phone 1800 20 20 65 to see how we can help.